She was removed from the graduation stage for her simple attire, a nondescript white cotton dress, faded ballet flats, and a casually tied ponytail, enough to draw the attention of a room full of diamonds. Apologies, but your name isn't included on the list of speakers. Please step down, the event organizer said, cutting through the silence like a shard of glass. No one inquired as to the reason. No one dared to ask why Elise Carter, the brightest star of St. Morel's, had been excluded from the final moment of recognition. Only hushed jeers floated through the seats, unaware that the daughters of janitors also aspired to stand alongside legacies. She descended slowly, each footfall measured, surrounded by gazes heavy with scrutiny. At that moment the doors swung wide, and in strode her fiancé, the heir to a billion-dollar empire. Royal Lancaster Hall stood as a monument to exclusivity. The crystal chandeliers cast prisms of light that danced across the gilded walls and velvet-draped tables. The atmosphere was heavy with the fragrance of orchids and affluence, each attendee a shimmering symbol of influence. The graduation ceremony at St. Morel Academy was an extraordinary occasion. A grand ceremony for the successors of esteemed Forbes-listed families. Diamond earrings shimmered on every ear, tailored suits whispered with each step, and the sound of champagne flutes created a melody of luxury. The students, adorned in elegant silk-lined caps and gowns, were seated in neat rows of gleaming mahogany chairs, their destinies already inscribed in gold. Outside, a live-stream screen displayed the ceremony for those unable to pay the $5,000 guest tickets, and among the onlookers was Maria Carter, Elise's mother. With the janitor's scrubs concealed under a borrowed coat, she gazed intently at her daughter's picture. Elise entered, her white cotton dress subtly defying the lavish surroundings. At 22, she was captivating, not in the refined manner of her contemporaries, but in the unrefined allure of someone who had truly embraced every facet of her being. Her dark hair gathered in a low ponytail accentuated a face with high cheekbones and hazel eyes that radiated both warmth and determination. Her worn ballet flats murmured softly against the marble floor, each step unwavering despite the burden of countless stairs. She was the scholarship student, brought up by a single mother who scrubbed hospital floors to make ends meet. Brilliant and relentless, she fought her way to the pinnacle of St. Morel's ranks, only to face judgment for the crime of being poor. The void left by her mother in the hall was a silent ache, a burden she bore while aware that Maria observed from the frigid street beyond. As Elise settled into her seat, the hall's elite activated a virtual executioner. Devices illuminated the room. Students furiously tapping away, their online updates a spectacle for all to witness. #charity case fails. One caption focused on Elise's worn-out flats. Another one shared St. Morel's greatest blunder, allowing a cleaner's child to enter. The live-stream chat erupted with hostility. She's a charlatan. Remove her from the situation. A girl in a sapphire gown, Sophia Lyle, stood, her voice resonating clearly for Maria to hear from outside. Take a look at X. Her dress has become the talk of the town for all the wrong reasons this year. The hall erupted in laughter, a cruel symphony, their phones poised like daggers aimed at Elise's heart. She remained motionless, her hazel eyes locked ahead, yet her fingers grazed her plaque, a subtle quiver revealing her composure. Maria's expression during the livestream was a facade of anguish, every post striking at her dignity like a sharp blade. The crowd's anger simmered, their outrage at the mob's brutality ablaze ready to ignite. A towering senior, Ethan Caldwell, scion of a tech empire, rose from his chair, his imposing figure looming over Elise as she remained seated. "You're occupying a space that isn't yours," he snarled, his voice resonating throughout the diamond section. He advanced, the sound of his loafers echoing against the marble floor, his Rolex catching the light as he gestured towards her. "That dress does a disservice to this hall. Leave now or we will force you to." The atmosphere grew tense, a palpable unease settling over the crowd as they lifted their phones, eager to document the unfolding scene. Ethan leaned closer, the warmth of champagne on his breath, his finger hovering just inches from Elise's face. "Your mother cleans floors for individuals like us. Understand your position." A handful of students erupted in cheers, their voices piercing, urging him forward. Elise's hands stayed neatly folded, her hazel eyes locking onto his, unwavering yet betraying a subtle pulse at her throat. The atmosphere crackled with intensity, her quietude a delicate barrier against his threat, while the crowd's fury swelled, yearning for her deliverance. The hall transformed as Elise settled into her place in the diamond section, designated for the distinguished. Soft murmurs cut through, the atmosphere with a sharp precision. "Hold on, are they leasing diamond seats by the hour now?" A boy in a tailored tuxedo sneered, his cufflinks glinting. A girl nearby, her gown adorned with shimmering Swarovski crystals, leaned forward. It's evident she slipped in quietly. You can sense that she's alone in this space. Their voices resonated, intentional and harsh, eliciting laughter from the surrounding seats. Elise's hands lay gently in her lap, her fingers unmoving, her expression calm and peaceful. During her 4 years at St. Morel, she had endured harsher criticisms, from classmates ridiculing her thrift store attire to professors doubting her suitability for leadership roles. Yet today, her graduation was meant to stand apart from the rest. Natalie Harrington, the offspring of a worldwide fashion dynasty, occupied a seat 3 rows ahead, her golden locks flowing in flawless waves, her emerald gown a stunning creation, worth $20,000. She pivoted, her cerulean gaze sweeping over Elise from head to toe, a smirk playing on her lips. St. Morel truly ought to reconsider its scholarship criteria, she declared, her voice carrying so that everyone in the section could hear. We cannot allow those of lesser status to disrupt the aesthetic balance. Laughter spread through the room as curious glances fell upon Elise's unadorned dress. A boy nearby shouted, "What's next?" prompting her mum to consider scrubbing the stage. The hall hummed with energy, the derision palpable, thriving on Elise's quietude. She remained composed, her hazel eyes locked onto the stage, though her fingers tensed momentarily, betraying a hint of unease beneath her serene exterior. A professor, Dr. Evelyn Tate, stood up from the faculty row, her silk shawl sliding down, as she spoke to the hall with a condescending smile. "Ms. Carter's presence here is generous, yet misguided," she remarked, her tone laced with insincere compassion. "St. Morel is for those who are meant to guide, not for those who follow." She motioned toward Elise, her diamond ring glinting in the light. "Your academic achievements are impressive, yet true leadership demands a certain background, not mere goodwill." The audience whispered their approval, a few hands coming together in applause, their sense of superiority forming a barrier around Elise. "Maybe a trade school would be a better fit for you," Tate remarked, her tone intentionally sharp. Elise held, the plaque in her lap, her hands unwavering, yet her hazel eyes betrayed a flicker of hidden sorrow. Outside, Maria's hands tightened into fists, the livestream recording Tate's patronizing tone, her daughter's aspirations ridiculed by those who should have been her supporters. The crowd's fury intensified, their indignation at this treachery, by those in power, a searing injury. Natalie Harrington leaned forward, her emerald gown shimmering under the chandelier's glow, her voice sharp yet smooth, like a finely crafted weapon. "Observe her, believing she can occupy the same space we do," she declared, her voice rising to ensure the live stream captured each syllable. She stood, her hands animatedly pointing at Elise's dress, her perfectly manicured nails glinting in the light. That piece should be tossed in a laundry bin, not showcased on St. Morel's stage, and those flats? I wouldn't even wear them for a stroll with my dog. The hall erupted in laughter, students applauding, their joy a spectacle for all to witness. A boy yelled, "Return her to the hospital to clean the floors." Natalie's grin broadened, her gaze fixed intently on Elise. "Text, your mother cleans for a living, and you merely follow in her footsteps, draining our reputation." She spat, her words, sharp and intentional. Elise's plaque quivered in her grasp, her knuckles turning pale, yet her expression stayed calm, an impenetrable stronghold amidst the chaos. The livestream captured the moment Maria's expression twisted in despair, the harshness of the crowd cutting deep, while the audience simmered with a rage poised to erupt. The ceremony commenced, the dean's voice resonating throughout the hall. extolling the future leaders of the world. When Elise's name echoed through the auditorium for the valedictorian award, it was a testament to her exceptional GPA, shining brightly as a symbol of her intellect. As she ascended, the murmurs intensified. "That person top of the class," whispered a girl adorned in pearls. Clearly there must have been some dishonesty involved. Elise approached the stage with deliberate steps, her gown shimmering as it reflected the light from the chandelier above. The applause was lukewarm, overshadowed by whispers of discontent. She took the plaque with a modest smile, unwavering, and made her way back to her seat, feeling the burden of their scrutiny more than the accolade she held. A cluster of students gathered close to Elise's seat, with Julian Pierce at the forefront, a banking heir whose smirk was as keen as his impeccably tailored suit. "Let's make her feel welcome," he said, flinging a crumpled napkin down to her feet. "Lift it up, child of the cleaner." Others gathered, tossing straws and programs, scattering debris across the floor around her. "This is where you belong, Elise," Julian mocked, his voice echoing through the live stream. The audience erupted in laughter, with some calling out for the next act to take the stage. The clutter accumulated, an embarrassing border encircling Elise's seat. She remained still, her cotton dress radiating a sense of resistance, yet her fingers clutched the plaque tightly, knuckles pale with tension. Maria's expression during the live stream was a poignant reflection of distress, each insult striking at her daughter's sense of self-worth. The crowd's fury escalated, their hearts racing, yearning for the torment to cease, for Elise to transcend. The brutality of the mob. Claire Voss, a media heiress adorned with a sparkling diamond choker, stood poised, her voice cutting through the air with a dramatic flair. "This is quite the predicament for everyone," she proclaimed, commanding the room with regal authority. "Elise believes she can take on the role of valedictorian in that thrift store dress." She gestured towards Elise, the sound of her jangling bracelet, echoing her smile laced with malice. "You're merely a fortunate exception, not someone who deserves to be here with us." The audience surged, voices raised in anger, demanding she return to the slums, claiming she's destroying the beauty of it all. Claire lifted a hand, bringing quiet to the room, her gaze fixed intently on Elise. "Your mother is insignificant, and you're even less than that," she said, her words dripping with malice and deliberate slowness. "Depart now to prevent further complications." Phones illuminated the scene, capturing Elise's quiet demeanor, her cotton dress becoming a focal point for their disdain. Outside, Maria's hands gripped her phone tightly, the live stream serving as a portal to her daughter's suffering, while the audience's fury surged, their hearts shattering for Elise's sense of self-worth. When the student speeches were announced, Elise's name was set to take the spotlight. After weeks of careful composition, she had created an address that honored resilience and celebrated her mother's sacrifices. With her heart unwavering, she approached the stage, the plaque firmly grasped in her hand. However, a coordinator, a slender woman clad in a black blazer, interjected, her clipboard held up as if to create a barrier. "Regrettably, your name does not appear on the official roster of speakers." "Please step down," she said, her voice icy, resonating through the microphone clipped to her lapel. The room fell into a hush, all gazes fixed intently on Elise. The coordinator's lips curled slightly, hinting at her amusement in that moment. Elise hesitated, her breath momentarily stilled, yet her expression stayed serene. Ms. Langley, the coordinator, approached Elise, who remained motionless on the stage, her clipboard held aloft as if it were a shield. "You heard me, Ms. Carter," she declared, her voice laced with contempt, magnified by her microphone. "Today your voice remains silent. You don't belong here." She faced the crowd, her smile constrained, seeking their validation. "At St. Morel, we uphold our standards, and this," she indicated toward Elise's dress, "falls short of them." The hall erupted with laughter, a resounding wave of sound, as students applauded as though witnessing a grand performance. "Perhaps you could assist your mother with the cleanup afterward," Langley remarked, her tone intentionally sharp. Elise's plaque quivered in her grasp, her hazel eyes shimmering with anguish, yet she remained silent. The live stream outside captured Maria's face, tears flowing freely, as the crowd's harshness felt like a public execution of her daughter's aspirations. The crowd's fury reached its zenith, their hearts racing, urging Elise to withstand this ultimate strike. The stillness shattered, murmurs igniting with fervor. A boy in the front row hissed, "She's poor, her mom's a janitor," his voice echoing through the live stream beyond. Melancholic yet appropriate, a girl chimed in, her diamond bracelet sparkling as she chuckled. Natalie reclined, a playful grin spreading across her face, her fingers gliding over her gown as if to wave away the unfolding drama. She had meticulously planned this. Time dedicated to captivating the event committee, making sure Elise's name was removed from the speaker list. It was her ultimate offering to the charity case, who had the audacity to eclipse her. The laughter in the hall swelled, a symphony of derision, every word a projectile aimed at Elise's pride. Outside, Maria held her phone tightly, her complexion drained, the live stream broadcasting her daughter's disgrace for all to see. Elise remained motionless, her fingers quivering gently. As they gripped the plaque, the coordinator pointed to the steps, her impatience evident. "Proceed, Miss Carter," she declared, her voice carrying to the farthest seats. The hall lingered, eager for Elise to falter, to weep, to reveal her unworthiness. Yet Elise remained unbroken. She raised her chin, her hazel eyes scanning the room, and spoke, her voice resonant and unwavering, slicing through the clamor like a knife. "I appreciate your guidance in revealing who genuinely fits in this space." The phrases flowed gently, yet they bore a significance that hushed the murmurs for an instant. Then she turned, her heels echoing on the marble, and began to walk off the stage, her head held high, her dignity a shield against their cruelty. As Elise stepped down from the stage, Natalie stood once more, her emerald gown radiating an aura of wickedness. "This is why we don't associate with the help," she asserted, her voice slicing through the hall like a whip. "Elise, you tarnish the legacy of St. Morel. Your mother has not succeeded, and you are merely a reflection of her shortcomings." She pointed toward the live stream screen, fully aware that Maria was tuned in. "Step outside and be with her, where you truly belong." The audience erupted in applause, their cheers a cruel taunt to Elise's suffering, phones capturing her every move. "No one wants you here," Natalie added, her smile dripping with malice. Elise's flats glided over the marble, her plaque held firmly, her hazel eyes alight with unspoken determination. Maria's cries resonated in the live stream, the audience's harshness, a brutal dismantling of her daughter's aspirations. The crowd's anger surged, their hearts shattered, urging Elise to withstand this ultimate devastating blow. The laughter of the hall echoed as she made her way down the steps. "Back to the slums," a boy shouted, his voice lost amidst the laughter. A girl flung a wrinkled program at Elise's feet, sneering. "Pick it up, janitor's kid." The paper slid across the floor, brushing against Elise's flats. Yet she continued on without a moment's hesitation. Her steps were measured, her expression calm, yet the crowd beyond, Mariah's crowd, absorbed each insult as if it were a tangible strike. Maria's hands trembled, tears cascading down her cheeks, yet she remained fixated on the screen. Elise was her daughter, her pride, and they were ripping her to shreds for their own amusement. The laughter in the hall surged like a tempest, unyielding, each jest a hidden injury that remained unseen yet resonated with all. Natalie stood, her oar, emerald gown glistening, her voice resonating through the air. "Let's offer her a round of applause for her efforts," she announced, clapping slowly with a hint of sarcasm. The hall echoed, the sound empty, a mockery of reverence. "Perhaps she could address the community college next," Natalie suggested, her smile sharp and biting. The laughter crescendoed, phones illuminating as students captured Elise's departure, their captions beginning to take shape. "Scholarship girl falters." Elise's figure diminished in the stage's light, her cotton dress standing out against the dazzling audience. She found herself isolated, vulnerable, her moment taken by those who had never faced a single hardship. The crowd's fury ignited, their spirits aligned with Elise, urging her to stand her ground. Yet, as the doors creaked ajar, time itself seemed to freeze. The guards created a clear divide in the aisle, their dark suits contrasting sharply with the lavishness of the hall. Light streamed in from behind, outlining a silhouette clad in a grey suit and black tie. Noah Grayson, the only heir to Grayson Industries, entered the room. At 24, he was a formidable presence, tall and lean with dark hair slicked back and eyes resembling polished steel, keen enough to slice through deception. His presence was charged, authoritative, the sort that hushed a room without uttering a sound. He transformed Grayson Industries' renewable energy division into a colossal $50 billion empire. His name echoed through boardrooms from Tokyo to New York. To Elise, he was just Noah, the man captivated by her intellect, her spirit, her subtle resilience. Noah approached Elise with purpose, each step measured, his eyes fixed intently on her. The hall paused, laughter fading into silence. He extended his hand, a blend of gentleness and strength, halting her in her tracks. "You're not going anywhere," he said, his voice low yet powerful, echoing through every corner of the hall. "This is a moment of recognition, and you are the sole individual present who genuinely merits it." Elise's gaze softened, a subtle smile gracing her lips, yet she remained silent, her quietude resonating more profoundly than any words could convey. Noah's hand rested on hers, his touch a vow, a barrier against the toxicity of the room. He faced the event organizers, his piercing gaze locking onto the coordinator, who seemed to wither beneath his intense stare. Noah stated, his tone steady yet firm, "I have been the primary sponsor of St. Morel for 3 years," each word resonating with authority. "This hall was constructed through my family's donations, which also supported your scholarships and preserved your legacy. I'm officially withdrawing all future funding unless Elise Carter is invited back on that stage immediately." The coordinators. Clipboard shook in her grasp, her complexion draining of color. The dean, positioned at the front, began to stutter nervously. Yet Noah's stare rendered him mute. The hall felt lifeless, each guest immobilized, their previous confidence dissipating. In the presence of Noah's command, Noah's gaze moved to Natalie, who remained tense, her smile vanished, her hands gripping her gown tightly. "Natalie Harrington," he declared, his voice slicing through the stillness with precision. "In the last 4 months, you reached out to me, 27 times pleading for a meeting, a partnership, an opportunity to join my family's table. I was well aware that you were the one who interfered with the speaker list today." The atmosphere crackled with tension, breaths caught in throats, whispers, swirling as all eyes turned to Natalie. Her cheeks burned a deep red, her gaze flitted around the room, desperately seeking a way out that was nowhere to be found. "You believed you could wipe Elise's name from existence," Noah said, his voice cold as ice. "However, you merely diminished your own credibility." Natalie's chair let out a harsh scrape as she rose, her voice quivering with emotion. "That's not true," she exclaimed, yet the gaze of the hall was upon her, scrutinizing, condemning. The coordinator leaned in close to the dean, who responded with a solemn nod, his expression serious. Security approached Natalie, their footsteps echoing on the marble floor. "Miss Harrington, your presence is required at the disciplinary board," one stated, his tone resolute. Natalie's gown snagged on her chair as she faltered, the sound of her heels echoing her sense of defeat. The hall remained still, observing her departure, her realm of power crumbling with every stride she took. Noah's voice ascended, a powerful presence that hushed the whispers in the hall. This was not solely Natalie's fault, he declared, his piercing gaze scanning the audience, identifying the culpable. "I possess documentation, including emails, texts, and witness statements that demonstrate a deliberate attempt to remove Elise's name from the speaker list." He retrieved a tablet from his suit, its screen illuminated with information. "Claire Voss, you influenced the event committee with a payment of $50,000 to modify the roster. Ethan Caldwell, you circulated falsehoods regarding Elise's fidelity to undermine her academic standing. Ms. Langley, you were aware that you were upholding the altered list for a promotion." The audience inhaled sharply, their gazes fixating on the defendant, expressions draining of color. Noah announced that Grace and Industries is initiating an investigation, and those implicated will encounter legal repercussions. Elise's honor is absolute. The atmosphere in the hall crackled with tension, the accused recoiling beneath his piercing stare. While the crowd erupted in applause, their spirits lifted as justice began to unfold. Dr. Harold Vance, the dean, approached the podium, his complexion pale and his voice quivering beneath Noah's steadfast stare. St. Morel has let down its most brilliant star, he declared, his voice resonating through the live stream. The decision to exclude Elise Carter was intentional, and we accept complete accountability for it. He directed his attention to the faculty, highlighting Dr. Tate. Your comments were inappropriate, and you are suspended while we conduct a review. He confronted the students, his voice resolute. Julian Pierce, Sophia Lyle, your conduct is currently being scrutinized for harassment. Expulsion is a possibility. The audience inhaled sharply, the defendant recoiling in their chair, their bravado dissipating. Ms. Langley, your involvement in this sabotage marks the conclusion of your time here, Vance stated firmly. The stillness of the hall was palpable, the online viewers erupting in applause as justice revealed itself. Elise stood with poise, her cotton dress radiant, her sense of self a guiding light. The crowd's spirits lifted, the venue's metamorphosis a reflection of her victory. Outside, the live stream documented her departure, the crowd erupting in applause for Elise's triumph. Elise stepped back onto the stage, her cotton dress shimmering. Beneath the chandeliers, the plaque still clutched in her hand. The hall lay in stillness, with heads lowered, the previous laughter now overshadowed by a palpable sense of shame. She stood at the podium, her hazel eyes scanning the audience, her voice resonant and unwavering. This moment isn't mine alone, she said, her voice gentle yet striking. This is for my mother, who instilled in me the belief that diligence surpasses riches. It's for every student who has been made to feel like they don't fit in. The applause started gently, gradually building into a powerful wave of admiration. Elise remained unaffected by it. She had no need to indulge. Her silence conveyed a powerful message. Her dignity emerged victorious. Elise approached the podium, her presence a subtle force that transformed the atmosphere of the hall. I stand here not for myself, but for every voice silenced by wealth, she declared, her voice unwavering, echoing with profound power. My mother instilled in me that honor cannot be purchased. It must be earned. This scholarship established in my name will guarantee that no student faces judgment based on their background. She lifted her plaque, gleaming gold, a testament to her triumph, and turned to the audience. St. Morel must evolve or it will perish. I opt for evolution. The applause thundered, with students and guests rising to their feet, their previous disdain transformed into deep respect. Noah's eyes gleamed with pride as his hand gently brushed against hers, a wordless promise between them. Outside, Maria's face radiated on the live stream, the crowd erupting in chants of Elise, Elise. The chandeliers overhead appeared to ignite, mirroring a heritage crafted in authenticity. The crowd's hearts raced, Elise's voice a powerful summons, her victory a flame destined to shine eternally. The ceremony pressed on, yet the atmosphere had shifted. Noah settled next to Elise, their hands nearly touching, a subtle vow of eternity, lingering in the air. The dean revealed the latest honors. Maria Carter, the mother of Elise, received the title of Inspiration of the Year, her name illuminating the live stream display. Maria's tears transformed into a radiant smile as the crowd outside erupted with pride. Grace Industries has committed to a $10 million scholarship in Elise's honor, aimed at supporting students with leadership potential from low-income families. The audience erupted in applause, yet Elise's gaze remained fixed on Noah, her heart brimming with joy, her triumph absolute. As Elise stood at the podium, the hall's silence became a backdrop for her triumph. This moment transcends my own, she declared, her voice unwavering, echoing with a strength that left the audience in awe. It's for my mother, who toiled through the night to provide me with opportunities. It's for every student who has been told their dreams are too small. She lifted her plaque, the gold glimmering in the light, and pressed on. The scholarship from Grace Industries bearing my name will pave the way for others who share my journey, and I will make certain that St. Morel always remembers the true essence of honor. The applause erupted, with students and guests standing, their previous disdain transformed into admiration. Noah stood beside her, his hand resting gently on hers, a subtle warmth of pride radiating from him. Outside, Maria's face radiated on the live stream, the crowd fervently chanting Elise's name. The chandeliers in the hall appeared to glow with an intensified brilliance, symbolizing a fresh legacy, one founded on authenticity rather than riches. The crowd's emotions surged, Elise's victory a shining symbol of righteousness that would resonate far beyond this place. With the ceremony drawing to a close, Noah and Elise emerged into the crisp spring air, a refreshing chill brushing against their skin. He knelt, a delicate velvet box cradled in his hand, a diamond ring sparkling in the sunlight. "Elise Carter," he murmured, his tone gentle, intended solely for her ears. "You are my sanctuary, my reality. Would you do me the honor of becoming my spouse?" Her smile shone brightly, her nod swift. The throng outside burst into cheers, Maria hurrying to greet them, her scrubs symbolizing her dedication. Elise and Noah stood side by side, fingers interlaced, their future shining brightly ahead of them. Natalie's disciplinary hearing unfolded quickly, resulting in her expulsion for tampering with the honors list, leaving her family's reputation in ruins. The live stream captured global attention, with Elise emerging as a beacon, her narrative flooding social media, a true testament to resilience. St. Morel's legacy transformed, its gates expanding, its essence redefined by a girl in a cotton dress. Elise required no jewels, she embodied brilliance. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more captivating tales like this one. We'd love to hear in the comments who you would have cheered for.